Well, Red and Black Revolution did respond to me. However, he didn't seem to really understand what it was that I was saying. Now, when I said I was responding to the claim that the Soviet Union wasn't communist, it was socialist, because that's what people do claim. So yes, the definition of socialism actually is relevant, and I didn't say that he said that. I never claimed that he said it. And I never made the argument that Stalin wasn't a dictator because he was chairman of the Central Committee. I made the argument that people like him who don't know anything about Stalin claim that he's a dictator, and I was citing people not knowing that he was the chairman of the Central Committee as an example of people not knowing anything about him. That wasn't an argument in itself. This is a straw man. Now, he says, well, the country was in the hands of the elite, just like it is with the bourgeois. No, these are two different types of government. One is a capitalist class, and one is not. The difference between these two should be very obvious. So, this is a problem with anarchism. It's just all status the same, so therefore same. This is actually where ANCAPs actually get it from. And he said, well, something was in the hands of the elite. Well, yes, someone who's uneducated in economics shouldn't be making that kind of a decision. That's a bad idea. And this is one of the reasons why the anarchists, was about 15,000 of their firms or factories, whatever, had to ask for bailout money from the government, and then later ended up joining the government because a lot of them didn't know what they were doing because the system was completely unplanned. It was left to the anarchy of the market. And if it's unplanned and you're using the market, what are you doing? Now, when we get to Mao, it was the exact same thing, as I said, with Stalin. The fact that Mao was forced out of power isn't meant to be proof that he wasn't a dictator. It was meant to be another example of people not knowing what they were talking about when they said that he was a dictator. They don't know because here's this one example of things that they don't know happen. And I also made the point that, very handful of small parts of China actually got to communism, which anarchism has never been able to do. Now, to reinterpret my point about bourgeois individualism causing anarchism not to work, I said that's the reason why it doesn't work. It's kind of like ANCOM saying bureaucracy means state socialism doesn't work, yet its whole history of actually working. Now, notice the lack of successful anarchism. My point was that in the end, yes, anarchism is collectivist. However, it relies on the bourgeois individualism of don't tell me what to do mentality. Now, I didn't define what bourgeois individualism was, which is probably where the problem propped up here. And I didn't use that as an argument. I brought it up as a side note. I also noticed that you didn't either. I don't believe that... He says, I don't believe Stalin was bad, but they always continue on the premise that he was, and not demonstrating what that difference is. So he didn't provide an argument as to why he wasn't just following what they say he is. Now yes, anarchism is counter to the bourgeois. I never said it wasn't. The bourgeois individualism is what makes it impossible for anarchism to work, which was my point. We don't frame anarchism as a bourgeois thing. We say the bourgeois individualist mentality is what causes it not to work. This is a point they don't seem to get straight. Now, this idea that he says, well, anarchism works because it's counter to the bourgeois. Well, so is feudalism. That's not an argument. Now, sure, anarchism is collectivist by ideology, but, it doesn't work because beyond a certain size, usually that one facility or factory or what have you, they don't cooperate anywhere beyond that. And it becomes, oh, we're doing exchanges. And in many cases, it relies on a market. And again, market, socialism, pick one. And then, finally, he says, Noam Chomsky never said to vote for Obama without illusions. Here's where he said that.
So, for ordinary people, is it better to have one section of the elite in power or the other? I mean, right now, if you're in a swing state, you're going to decide McCain or Obama. Is there a decision that matters to people? And what would you suggest if you're in a swing state?
Well, I would suggest voting against McCain, which means voting for Obama without illusions, because all the elevated rhetoric about change and hope and so on will dissolve into standard centrist Democrat policies as soon as if he takes office.
This is what I was talking about. This video reply, he either strawmanned me or twisted my words and denied what Chomsky said, and it's right there. There's a reason why they call it an infantile disorder.